Internet. This is my introductory video. I've been going back and forth a lot about whether or not to make this video, and I've decided that yes, I am going to stop being anonymous, and yes, I am going to come forward with who I am. Yay! So I basically kept debating whether or not to do this, mostly on the basis of what were my old reasons for being anonymous and what were my new ones. So I originally, when I started the blog, I was underage, and I was kind of worried about what might come of this in the future. I didn't want anything I wrote to kind of later be used against me in like job interviews, and also as someone who was underage, I didn't really want my name associated or floating around too many corners of the internet. This is no longer true. I am no longer underage. I'm fairly comfortable with everything I've written on the blog, except for maybe a couple of embarrassing reviews. But largely speaking, those reasons they're no longer relevant. So I kind of had to sit and think, why am I still anonymous? And I realized that a really big factor is the concern I had about being a young woman on the internet, particularly being a young woman blogging in circles that tend to skew older. And there's a general cultural thing of not taking young women so seriously. You might not be so aware of it, but definitely the things that young women like, the way that young women like things, when they like things, and how they like things, and even where they like things are often considered very, very low. And they're often really dismissed, and they are often treated as kind of the dumping ground of culture. And the realization that I didn't want to be associated with that was kind of uncomfortable because, A, it validates the notion that young women really are lesser than every other demographic, which is absurd, and also because it kind of flies in the face of many of the messages that I am trying to send about women writers, just in general, our place in culture and our place in the literary discourse. And so here I am telling you all that women writers are important and we need to kind of do a better job of recognizing our biases, while simultaneously being like, but not with me. I'm not going to tell you that I am a young woman because then you won't take me seriously. That's absurd. I'm not going to do that. I don't think that I should be regarded any less highly because of the fact that I am a woman, or because I'm young, or because I'm a young woman. I think whatever impression you formed of me until now should probably stay the same even after you discover the things that I have kept hidden. For example, I read a lot more than what I share on the blog. I used to be way more open about the young adult literature I read, and in the past couple of years I've kind of pushed that aside in favor of discussing literature and translation much more. And it's not that I don't read literature and translation, or that the things I'm talking about aren't things that interest me. It's just they're not the only things that interest me, and I have been brushing off things that I find wonderful and inspiring and some of the best books I've read, because I thought, if you see that I reviewed this book, that I care about this book, that I take it seriously, you will not take me seriously as a result. And so that's going to stop. I am no longer going to hide anything that I like. I'm going to talk about whatever I want, and that's just going to be a change. Some of it might not necessarily be on the blog, but certainly I am not going to feel like I have to hide myself and my interests to fit a bad view of the world, one that simplifies an entire group of people to a stereotypical kind of vapid idea. So yes. Anyways, that is my brief introduction. Thank you to everyone who's participating in the Women in Translation Month, to everyone who even just mentioned that they were reading a book for it, or are interested in participating, or read the posts. You didn't even really need to do anything. The whole point here was just to think about the issue and to kind of become aware of the problem, and I think that has been an overwhelming success, and I'll talk about this more specifically at some point once the month is over. But honestly, now we're kind of getting close enough to the end where I can just call this an overwhelming success, and with all of my young woman passion, I say yes! Awesome! Everything is wonderful. Really, it's been such a joy, and I'll see you guys again soon.